Welcome back everyone to the 13.15 edition of the Best Solo Carries, where we break down 3 champs for every single role that holds some of the greatest carry potential for the current meta. And just before we get started, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then go to SkillCapped.com. Stop wasting your time grinding thousands of games only to see no progress. With SkillCapped, you'll uncover the secrets to climbing ranks fast that only takes a few minutes to learn and can be immediately applied in your next game. The best part is it's completely risk-free to try, as you're kept safe with our rank up insurance. If you don't significantly improve while actively using SkillCapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Get the rank you've always wanted by clicking the link in the description below. Alright, now back to the video, starting with the top lane. Fresh off some buffs last patch, and now one of the best top laners for solo queue is Aatrox. Aatrox has become so strong that Riot is even partially reverting his buff from last patch, but even with that nerf, we expect him to remain a very powerful pick. The scaling strength of Aatrox has become significantly better due to those recent buffs, and as a result, he's actually holding a higher win rate in gold than he is in Masters and above. Once maxed out, Q drops to a very low spammable cooldown, but at rank 1, it's all the way up at 14 seconds. Early in lane, you really have to play around this CD and only look to trade when it's up. Aatrox is nothing as a champ early in lane without his Q, so you have to respect the enemy when it's down. For example, if you're playing it as someone like Aurelia and she watches you use Q on the wave, it's so easy for her to dash to minions and immediately punish if you do not back off her. These highly mobile champions who can easily dodge out on your Q damage are who you should consider banning, so Aurelia is one of the best options. Core build for Aatrox is an Eclipse Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Cyrilda's Grudge 3rd. Run Conqueror for the Keystone rune with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. Optimal secondaries are Second Wind and Revitalize. One top laner who's had many indirect changes go their way in recent patches and sliding into the top 3 is Illaoi. A few patches back, we saw some buffs to Hullbreaker, and most recently in 13.14, Sterix was buffed. Both these items are great pickups on Illaoi, so she's become significantly stronger for solo queue. Drawing pressure and forcing the enemies to dive into you is how you're going to find most success on Illaoi. The champion thrives into heavy melee comps because her tentacles can deal so much damage if she gets a multi-man R off. Landing E with Illaoi is super key to winning fights as well, and if the enemy dives in right on top of you, it makes it way easier for you to land the spell. Best ban for Illaoi is Mordekaiser, as his ultimate does a really good job at countering Illaoi's kit. The standard 3-item core is an Iceborne Gauntlet Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Sterix Gauge 3rd. Run Grasp for the Keystone rune with Demolish, Bone Plating, and Overgrowth. Pick up Presence of Mind and Last Stand for secondaries. One of the biggest buffs we are seeing in 13.15 is going the way of Camille, and she's moving into the top 3 as a result. When you use R with Camille, you are granted bonus magic damage from your auto attacks when the enemy is inside, and that value is going up from 5 all the way to 20 at rank 1 in your R. 15 added damage per auto attack is massive and will make Camille's level 6 all-in power pretty nuts. That level 6 spike is going to be a huge win condition to play towards, and since Camille runs Ignite, your ability to win out in those 1v1s is going to be amazing. Matchup wise for Camille, Renekton is one of the more difficult lanes due to his ability to nullify your passive shield, so he's a good ban option. Core build to run is a Trinity Force or Divine Sundra Rush into Ravenous Hydra 2nd and Sterix Gauge 3rd. For runes, take Grasp with Shield Bash, Second Wind, and Unflinching. Magical Footwear and Biscuits are the way to go for secondaries. The recent 13.14 nerfs to Rek'Sai have been very unimpactful, so she's back in the top 3 for jungle in 13.15. Especially now that Ivern is being nerfed, Rek'Sai is going to be the best solo queue jungler. Super huge perk to the champion is that she can set up gank angles from places that 95% of other junglers can't. Using your tunnels effectively is extremely important on Rek'Sai, and something that may take a bit of time to adjust to, but will lead to you snowballing games insanely hard. You can bypass so many common ward spots due to your tunnels and surprise the enemy with ganks when they least expect it. If you are someone who likes playing champs who can be proactive throughout the early game, then there's no better option than Rek'Sai right now. Ban-wise for the champ, Kindred is one of the more annoying matchups as her mobility and R make it difficult to play into, especially later on. The build for Rek'Sai consists of a Stridebreaker Rush into Black Cleaver 2nd and Sterix Gauge 3rd. Rune Page is Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace, followed by Free Boots and Cosmic Insight for secondaries. One of the best pure carry junglers for the current meta, and without question the best AD assassin, is Kha'Zix. Champ is super nuts right now with Duskblade, and if you can get ahead early on, you have such incredible skirmish power on that item spike. As with most assassins, but even more so with Kha'Zix, you really want to be trying to play on the outskirts of fights, looking for flanks onto carries that are split from their team. Not even allowing the game to have 5v5 fights is really when you know you're playing Kha'Zix well, as picking off targets before a fight can even break out is what you really want to be aiming to do. An easy way to try and accomplish this each game is by being aware of objective spawn timers and try to be setting up in choke points where the enemy will walk into ward about 1 minute prior to the objective spawning. Especially in games where you are ahead, you really want to limit the control the enemy team can get over objectives, and being there early to pick them off is a very actionable play. Ban-wise for Kha'Zix, you can really never go wrong with using it on Rengar. Build revolves around a Duskblade Rush into Prowler's Claw 2nd and Edge of Night 3rd. Grab First Strike as the Keystone Rune with Magical Footwear, Futures Market, and Cosmic Insight. Sudden Impact and Treasure Hunter are for secondaries. When it comes down to impacting solo queue games on a consistent basis, there are few who do it better than Evelynn. The Champion's kit is just so powerful that she forces the enemy team to be on their toes at all times, and with one slip up, you can find that catch on the enemy carry that solo wins the game. We may never see Evelynn as a prominent option in the pro scene, but in the chaotic clown fiesta that is solo queue, she works insanely well. One of the most easy and actionable win conditions to play for in each game is rotating your camps on time and hitting 6 as soon as possible. Doing an early dragon or waiting around for a counter gank is often not worth it for Evelynn because hitting that 6 is just so important. With his extremely high play rate and strength in meta, using your ban on Kha'Zix is good value right now. The 3-item core for Evelynn is going to be a Rocket Belt Rush into Rabadon 2nd and Void Staff 3rd. Most games you're going to want to pick up a Magi's at some point, so make sure you grab an early Dark Seal to get that stacking. Rune Page consists of Electrocute with Sudden Impact, Eyeball Collection, and Relentless Hunter. Best secondaries are Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. From being a pretty mediocre pick in one patch to now the best solo queue mage in the game is Xerath. The 13.14 buffs have been extremely impactful, and Xerath is back as a top tier mid laner for the first time in ages. To show you guys the buffs in action, our challenger mid laner Shori has a brand new full game commentary on our website. Lost chapter mages in general feel much better right now due to being able to cheat their way to the item much faster. You can run Futures Market in runes and even start off with a mana crystal instead of Doran's Ring. By doing this, you can purchase your lost chapters super early in lane and begin pressuring with poke really well. Your ban when playing Xerath is going to be best used on a highly mobile assassin, so Fizz, Katarina, or Zed are good options. The build consists of a Luden's Rush into Horizon Focus 2nd and Rabadon's 3rd. First Strike is going to be the best Keystone Rune with Free Boots, Futures Market, and Cosmic Insight. Roll with Mana Flow and Scorch for secondaries. Xerath wasn't the only mid laner who saw a big rise due to recent buffs, as Lissandra has seen a great spike in power as well. Liss is actually now one of the most played mid laners for solo queue, and a bunch of pros are picking her up too. Being a champion with point and click lockdown, Lissandra does an amazing job at nullifying those highly mobile melee mids. Unlike Xerath, Liss actually thrives into champions like Fizz, Zed, Yasuo, and Katarina, which makes her so valuable for solo queue. At the very least, just having Liss in your back pocket to pull out as a counter is a really great idea for the current mid lane meta. The longer range mages are who Lissandra is going to run into more issues against, so banning out Syndra or Xerath is a good idea. Deciding whether you need to be the one diving in or the one who sits back to peel is important on Liss. She can do both very well, so analyzing the enemy comp is key. If the enemy comp has a bunch of ranged champs who want to sit back, then diving in is great. Into comps that are more melee heavy, sitting back and using your CC for peel can be very effective. Our challenger mid laner Shori does a really good job at explaining this theory in his brand new full game commentary on our website. When you need to be the one diving in, going for a more utility focused build with Everfrost works great, while if you're into more squishy melees who need to dive into you, going for a one-shot Luden's build is amazing. The Rune Page is Electrocute with Cheap Shot, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter, followed by Mana Flow and Transcendence. For our third solo carry mid lane selection of 13.15, we have Neeko. Neeko's new kit is so powerful for solo queue because the surprise factor from passive can solo win games, especially when games drag out later. Disguised as a minion and finding a catch when the enemy ADC goes for the wave is so low risk, high reward. What makes Neeko's new kit so OP is that you don't risk anything at all for trying to find a catch play, but the potential reward you can receive is massive. Even if you pop out trying for the catch and end up missing your E, you then got your W to disengage away, and if the enemy tries to dive on you, the self-peel from R makes it very hard for enemies to ever punish you. Similar to Lissandra, due to the strong self-peel in Neeko's kit, she does quite well into the highly played melee mids. It's the longer ranged mages who are of most trouble, so banning Syndra or Xerath is good value. Core build to run on Neeko is a Rocket Belt Rush into Shadowflame 2nd and Zanya's 3rd. Comet is the Keystone Rune with Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch, followed by Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. Now that Kai'Sa is nerfed for 13.15, the best ADC that you can play for solo queue is going to be Ashe. The laning strength and ability to find catch plays with R give you so much agency over how games play out. You really want to be abusing Ashe's long auto range and ability to poke with W to get priority early on in lane. Due to the AoE damage from Ashe W, you should be able to secure the level 2 jump on the enemy most of the time, so taking advantage of that is key. Of course, it's the Trinity Force build that is pushing Ashe over the top right now and giving her that edge up on everyone else. Crack and Rush into Trinity second and Hurricane third is the 3-item core you should be looking to run for most games. Your ban when playing Ashe is going to be best allocated towards a heavy dive champion who's in meta, so Zed or Jarvan are good options right now. The rune page for Ashe is Lethal Tempo with Presence of Mind, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace. Run Biscuits and Approach Velocity for secondaries. One of the most powerful ADCs you can play right now, especially with how the support meta has evolved, is Miss Fortune. MF with her lethality build paired up with any melee engaged support is extremely deadly. Playing off that R cooldown and pinging your team to go in when you know you can win fights is how you'll find great success on Miss Fortune. If R is up, chances are you can win the 5v5. If it's down, then pinging your team off and playing more reserve till it's back up is important. Using your ban on a meta dive champ is generally going to be best value when playing MF, so Zed and Jarvan are good options right now. The core build for Miss Fortune is a Ghostblade Rush into the Collector second and Cyrilda's Grudge third. Rune page is First Strike with free boots, biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Run Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm for secondaries. With Kai'Sa falling in power this patch and many other ADCs not really standing out all that much, carry Karthus is going to be our final bot lane selection for 13.15. The champ has been a very sleeper pick for a while now and has become even better recently due to enchanters falling out of meta. Karthus currently has over 55% win rate when paired with Nautilus, Pyke, Rell, Leona, or Blitzcrank, which is completely mental. Any champ with good lockdown works amazing as it gives Karthus a very easy time to line up his Q for massive consistent damage. All-in plays are so deadly early on, and your win condition in lane is to be ready to play off your support's engage. You run Exhaust for your secondary summoner, so the 2v2 power of Karthus is ridiculously strong, especially if the enemy does not take Cleanse. Since Karthus Q deals AoE damage, he's able to get the push in most matchups, so if you are with a melee support, pushing for that 2 and then looking to be aggressive is key. One ADC who can be a bit more annoying to play into due to his longer range and mobility is Ezreal, so he's a solid ban. The build for Karthus is a Liandry's Rush into Shadow Flame second and Rabadon's third. Dark Harvest is the Keystone rune with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Ultimate Hunter. Run Presence of Mind and Last Stand for secondaries. For the first time in a while, making an appearance on the support solo carry list is going to be Zyra. It was the buffs from 13.14 that have pushed Zyra into this powerful spot. Especially now that Ashe is going to be the best ADC for 13.15, having Zyra in your champion pool for support is a no-brainer. MF is also amazing when paired with Zyra, so you've got some great synergies in meta right now. Level 6 is where you can really begin taking over games with Zyra. Her skirmish power with ultimate is some of the best for any support, so playing aggro around that spike is important. Ward up so you don't get ganked and start looking to pressure with poke. All it takes is that one E hitting and you end up winning the lane, as the follow-up burst from your full combo is massive. Champions who have snap engages that can isolate you very quickly are who Zyra struggles most against, so Rakan is a solid ban. The build is a Liandry's Rush into Rylai's second and Zanya's or Demonic Embrace third. Roll with Comet for the Keystone, followed by Mana Flow, Transcendence, and Scorch. Optimal secondaries are Taste of Blood and Relentless Hunter. One of the most dominant melee supports you can add to your repertoire for 13.15 is Rell. Rell is arguably the most consistently powerful teamfight support in the game, as her Flash R into Chain CC combo is relatively easy to execute but so impactful. At level 6, you really want to keep your eye on if the enemy support splits up from their ADC. Being laser focused on finding those openings and then flashing in for your Chain CC combo can lead to very easy kills with Rell. These supports who do a good job at keeping you out of fights are who you want to consider banning, so Alistar and Janna are two great options. Core build to run on Rell is an Even Shroud Rush into Zeke's second and Knight's Vow third. Pick up Glacial for the Keystone rune with Hex Flash, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight. Bone Plating and Unflinching are the best secondaries. It's very rare that we feature the same champion in the top 3 for 2 different roles, but that is the case with Xerath right now. 13.14 buffs have not only increased his strength as a mid laner, but as a support as well. The mana sustain in lane has become a bit weaker, but the trade-off to having more all-in power at level 6 has been positive for Xerath. As we mentioned when talking about Zyra earlier on, the fact Ashe is such a highly played ADC right now makes a long-range mage support like Xerath that much better. Ashe R into Xerath R at level 6 is just so deadly. When playing a skill shot reliant champ like Xerath, you really want to stay focused on the health of your own minions. When your minions drop into the threshold range to where the enemy ADC will want to last hit them, that's when you need to be throwing your skill shots. Don't just throw out random Qs and Ws. Wait until the enemy is forced into a fixed position when farming, and it will greatly increase your hit rate on the spells. builds. Those supports who have longer range engage power are who Xerath struggles into the most, so banning Leona or Nautilus is good value. Build is Eluden's Rush into Shadowflame's second and Rabadon's third. Take First Strike with Free Boots, Biscuits, and Cosmic Insight for primary runes. The best secondaries are Mana Flow Band and Scorch. So that wraps up the 13.15 solo carries, but if you want to improve fasting at the rank you've always wanted, then go to SkillCapped.com. With premium courses for every role and skill taught by the best players, SkillCapped is the perfect platform to help take your game to the next level. Take our Wave Control course. While you wait for your next game to start, you can learn freezing, fast pushing, slow pushing, bouncing waves, the list goes on, all in just a few minutes to maximize your improvement rate. Or maybe you just like seeing your opponent's health go to 0. Then you'll love our trading course. We even have a skill test at the end so you can see how good you really are. Players just like you are leaving 5-star reviews and raving at how helpful they are. That's not all we offer though, as every week we release 10 brand new Smurf commentaries where a challenger player teaches you how to climb out of the exact rank you're stuck in. If you're looking for something more personal instead, then we got you covered with one-on-one coaching from our trained challenger experts. All this seemed too good to be true? Well, don't worry, we're backed by a rank up guarantee. If you don't significantly improve while actively using SkillCapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Thanks so much for watching everyone, good luck in solo queue, and we'll catch you in the next one.